Tell me about the first time you drove a Morgan. What went through your head?
My father decided it was about time for me to have a car. And I went to London, and there was a discussion as to whether it was to be an Austin Healey or a Triumph, and at the time the Healey was too powerful, and the Triumph was switching from a TR3 to a TR4, and there were none available. And I'd seen an ad in a motorsport magazine for Morgan, and so I went to the dealer, and after various attempts they took me out for a test drive. It was a 4-seater Morgan, I remember that, and it was wonderful. I mean, it was love at first sight. And we got this money transferred, which at the time was something like $2,000 for a brand new car.
Yeah.
And a week later, I went up to Malvern and met Peter Morgan and took delivery of the car. It was pretty simple.
Tell me a bit about the driving experience, and let's start with the throttle, because this Morgan with a Corvette engine has a really remarkable throttle feel to it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Well, with electronic fuel injection, you can putter around like we're doing now. Go to pick up the shopping, go grocery shopping, pick up the dry cleaning, like a little old lady. But if you apply more pressure, then it's like an alert signal to what's up in front, and you stir up the horses. So,
shall we try a little?
We'll try a little. That's third. That's second. That's third. Now, that's third gear. There's 3 more.
Bill, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What a rocket ship.
It's torque and a lightweight car, and it's a winner every time.
How much lighter is the Morgan with a Corvette?
About 1,000.
A Corvette with a Corvette engine.
About 1,000 pounds.
Wow. So the throttle is direct wire?
They're fly-by-wire. Yeah.
Yeah, fly-by-wire.
This particular car has a linkage, but yeah, they're all fly-by-wire now.
Okay. This kind of throttle certainly needs a good braking system. Yeah. Describe the braking system to me.
It's 4-wheel discs.
Yeah.
We use a Camaro discs at the back, 11-inch disc. Morgan's disc at the front with a vacuum-assisted servo. It stops from 60 miles an hour and 114 feet. I can put all these cameras through the windshield.
Let's not do that.
No, we won't do that.
Okay. Okay, suspension. How has the suspension been changed since the early days of Morgan?
Well, Morgan, the front suspension is the same as the original Morgan back in 1910. The principle is the same. The structure is slightly different, but it's sliding pillar, and it's just a vertical movement. The rears, they use leaf springs until they're still using leaf springs on the traditional cars. But to cope with the power, particularly the torque and the twisting forces on the leaf springs, we had to chuck them off and go to coilovers. I remember when I was talking to Morgan's chief engineer, Morris Owen, who designed the Plus 8. I said, how do we know what's going to happen? Where do we put the axle? How we secure it? And he said, be brave. He said, take those leaf springs off and throw them away. So we did. We're using a system that's very similar to an early Ferrari with 5 links and a Chevy's torque arm from the rear axle to the transmission. It came from my friend Morris Owen in the UK. I developed it a little differently than he had. But he was basically a copy of about a 1952 Ferrari with some GM addition to it. And it works pretty well. It absolutely prevents wheel hop. You can spin them, but they won't hop.
Now, Bill, you are legendary in Morgan circles for having saved the Morgan, or in terms of saving it for people here in America.
States, yeah.
Yeah. What was that like? How did that come about?
Oh, I've been selling parts. When I was at Oxford, I bought one of the last cars we could legally get over here, and I got some tools, and I went to Morgan and said I wanted to convert the steering, and they supplied me left-hand drive steering components. And from my student digs, worked in the evenings and flipped the steering over, and gave the car to a friend of mine who's coming over here for his sister's wedding. And we shipped the car over, and the car got here. He went to the wedding, and he sold the car. We both made money, and I thought, that's not bad. So I bought some more and flipped the steering and sent it over, and we made some more money. And I thought, I could probably do this as a business for a short period of time. But short periods grew longer, and I'm still doing it slightly differently than I did 40 years ago.